Hello. So I was so you know how I mentioned that you can use indie films and pay for the licensing fee for public performance and use that as like the evening for your fundraiser community groups. Well, I was talking to a new friend in Montreal of all places, and he mentioned that I had the movie The Deep on my website. And The Deep, it says it was distributed by September Film Distribution. And he told me apparently it's not supposed to be online because it's owned by Sony. So it has to be, instead of saying September Film Distribution, it should have said Sony Film Distribution. So that was um, a fake copy. And through the discussion with this guy, I discovered that not all indie when people talk about indie films, right? Um, they think of a couple of things. They think of low budget or small budget, right? Um, and they also think of indie produced, like indie financed, right? Seldom do they think about indie distributed. And as a so like consumer fan, right? And when indie filmmakers ask you to help them, the, the part they're talking about, not the financing, no, not the um what was the other one? Financing, um, small budget or something, right? They mean the distribution. That's what when indie filmmakers ask like you like movies, like movie fans to help them. These indie filmmakers are distributing the movie themselves, theater by theater, screening by screening. So say the movie The Deep, I would say it's small budget movie, right? It looked like an indie movie, but it's distributed by Sony. So it's actually a studio movie. You understand? It looks like a small budget movie, right? You can say it's an indie movie looking, right? With like September film distribution, right? But it's actually a studio movie because the rights it was sold to Sony. So now it belongs to a studio. It's a studio movie. Right. There are indie filmmakers out there who did not or do not want to sell their movie to a studio. They're distributing the movie on their own. So they're going from theater to theater, screening the movie, right? Or you can buy some rights from them and screen it on your website, right? And like they haven't sold the movie to a studio. The studio doesn't own the movie. It's still in the hands of the indie filmmakers. And those are the types of movies I'm referring to. And there's still some of them are still very good films, or very socially um, like advocate, socially relevant documentaries, right? So so I learned something. So that movie, The Deep, it looked like an indie movie. It's actually owned by Sony. Maybe it might have been indie created, but sold to Sony. And now Sony, just like if you buy something, it belongs to you. So it actually belonged to Sony. So I moved it off my website, having learned that. But I also learned what's more important is how to find what to look for in a indie distributed movie. And if you want to help, like say, a socially relevant documentary, or a talented filmmaker who's distributing their film themselves, that's what you're really looking for. Someone who's distributing the film themselves, and you can ask. Sometimes you can ask them like, how much is the fee to show on my website? Sometimes it's affordable, or sometimes they just say, it's cause related. It's a socially relevant movie, so you can show it for free. All right. So we learned something new today. Okay. Thank you for listening. This is part of my video diary for the Culture Proof. entertainment information website. And now you learn about WeDay. Okay, bye-bye.